This is the podcast TV show that gives you the facts, food, and fitness. Join me as I travel around in my RV interviewing people from all around the world via online and in person, discovering the 8 dimensions of wellness so that we can find a way to live in complete balance. Check that out, guys, the final product. If you're hungry, you got smell-o-vision, come get it. There you go, I wish, right? 2, 3. Time to get going. Welcome to Wellness on the Go. I am your host, Jason Cronin, and enjoy the show. In today's show, we're going to focus on environmental wellness. Very few people don't realize that their environmental wellness is part of their total wellness. Like buying a home is super stressful, and it really affects your environmental wellness. Purchasing a home is really important, and you really want to make sure that you can control what you're buying and have a great environment for your life. Our guest is a pro at helping people buy and sell a house. She's an award-winning real estate agent for 22 years, a broker of Agora Reality, and a TV host. I'd like to welcome my great friend, Aly Sands from American Dream TV. How you doing today, Aly?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. So good to see you.
You're very welcome. And thank you so much for allowing us to come to your property today with our RV. Your neighbors are probably wondering, like, what's going on here? Like, this crazy RV rolls up and sits outside. It's kind of creepy, isn't it?
No, my dogs were interested, though.
Yeah, those are really cute pups. They're also her employees, but we'll talk more about them later.
That's right.
What made you want to get into real estate? What was your driving force to get into real estate?
So my background was in art and music, but I grew up with a mother who was a real estate broker. After I had my run here in Nashville with the music business, I kind of just fell into real estate.
Really? And do you enjoy that more than art? Because I know art's very hard to make it.
Yes, you do know that. But I also had a degree in marketing, so kind of fell right into place with marketing homes for sale.
And due to the fact that real estate is what's pretty much changing throughout the years, have you seen a difference between when you started real estate and now how real estate has been?
Well, the market's never the same for too long. It's in cycles, and there are times when there's a buyer's market, there's a time when there's a seller's market. When you're working in it consistently, you kind of experience the subtle changes that happen before everybody else notices it.
Overall, like, what is the biggest change from when you first started till now? Like, because I know that online sales is way different than it used to be.
Oh, that's a big one. I mean, in a way, it helped us to get more business, but it also put all of our information out there, all of our listings. And so you have the public and you have other agencies that have access to everything.
And I got to mention for Aly. Aly helped us buy our first home. I got to give her a lot of props because she actually went out of her way to really, really help us. There was many bids on the house, and for her help, made a huge difference. Doing it by yourself is not the way to go. So you definitely need a realtor in your area to really help you. But Aly, you got to give her loads of props. And she's award-winning for 22 years, real estate agent, going on 23. So congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, you know, the thing about working with clients, especially buyers, are very trepidatious, especially if they're first-time home buyers and making a very important life-changing decision. So I make it my job to lighten things up by explaining the entire process up front. You remember that.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
But at the same time, I get to know who they are and what their needs are, and try to make it fun so it's not quite as stressful.
Absolutely. And what do you find is the biggest stress for a new home buyer?
I would say the biggest stress is just going through the process. It's the nerves. A lot of nervousness this is one of the biggest steps in anybody's life, next to getting married, having children, buying and selling homes.
Absolutely. And for us, it was really stressful because we saw multiple homes, and you could believe me with some of the houses we've seen. Oh, I was scared. But Aly said, hey, don't worry about it. And we saw this one home, and there was multiple offers, and really, really helped. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. You've been there for now
almost 9 years, I think. 8 years, 9 years, or right around there.
Yeah, that's crazy. Time flies so quickly. You got your dogs. You grow great vegetables.
Oh yeah, I love that. That's great.
Yep.
All fenced in, all fancy looking now. Better. We're getting work done. Aly's referring contractors to us to help us fix our house as well. So that's a great network is for your home or for your anything that you're doing around your house.
Well, what was really cool for me is that I hired Kara to do a portrait of other clients of mine. So I get I really care about my clients, and I thought, well, this is great because I could support Kara, and I have a really nice gift for these people.
Absolutely. So, and she loves that as well, that you did that for her.
Yes, I love her. I'm always, anybody's on Facebook, anybody know an artist? I'm like, Kara.
Exactly. And Kara actually is my girlfriend, if you're referring to. So everyone out there watching, like, who's Kara? But that's my girlfriend. She's a portrait artist.
Wonderful. She's very talented, and she's a beautiful person inside and out.
Most definitely, yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, she keeps me in check all the time.
Good for her.
Which is excellent. I need that. What is your ideal client? Because I know there's a lot of clients out there. Who's your ideal client that you feel like you definitely want people to come to you for that?
Well, people like you and Kara who have read about me, you listen to what I had to say. Trusted that I have the experience and the know-how, and seriously considered the advice that I gave you throughout the process. And also it helps that you're pleasant to spend time with, and that the process isn't just work to me.
Mm-hmm. And I do know you have 2 employees that are really special to you. They're your fur buddies. How do you pay them back?
They get treats of all kinds. They get baked chicken livers as a treat. That's what they really love.
And we'll show a picture of Rocky and Maggie, so everyone can see Rocky and Maggie out there. But they're the most important employees because they're the ones that actually keep Aly in check and keep her busy as well.
That's right. They are in my office with me all day.
That's perfect. And our buddies are too. They're my stress balls. Speaking about stress, we're going to talk about wellness. Now, what is your wellness routine that you do to help you out to break the stress so that you don't feel like it's overwhelming?
I play music sometimes. I love to go to the lake with my husband and my dogs. We love going to the lake for stress. Boxers in the Lake is
nice.
Is really fun to watch.
Nice. Sounds like the name of a song, Boxers in the Lake.
Yeah. I'm feeling it like Strangers in the Night.
Exactly.
So, another thing is that having been in real estate and a real estate broker for such a long time, you have to be able to separate your business life from your private life, because you do carry over, especially when you're negotiating for a client. You're going to be doing this into the night.
Absolutely.
So you have to learn when you have to turn off your phone or just say, I'll call you tomorrow.
Exactly. So you're not sleeping in the middle of the night and hearing the ringing of your phone.
Oh, yeah. Well, that happened once at midnight, and it will never happen again.
I agree. You got to turn off sometime. It's good for your mental status. And do you feel like all real estate agents should have some type of wellness program?
I do. Real estate's just a very stressful business to begin with. You've got to be available to address things with your clients when they need you, and you have to be able to realize when a real problem arises and try to fix it before you tell your clients about it, so that it could be fixed and you might not ever have to tell them. But you just have to be able to not take it personally. And when I was a new agent, I would take things personally, and I'd lose sleep over it. I don't do that anymore. I know it is what it is.
And for a new agent out there, I saw that you do mentoring and also coaching for your agents. What is that program all about?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a program per se, but as a principal broker and owner of a company, I have to be sure that my agents are doing the business properly. They can come to me, or any agents that I just know, can come to me with their questions as far as, it's hard to get out of some things. Mm-hmm. But with the experience, along comes creative thinking of how to get something taken care of, or how to make something go away, just different ideas. And then when you talk to the agent, you could extrapolate on those things together.
Absolutely, and that's perfect that you can do that. Hold their hand a little bit, get them into the field. I know you probably have a mentor when you started. Hopefully.
Well, my mentor really was my mother. My mother, but she was in a different state.
Mm-hmm.
So she was a broker when I first started. And believe me, there were a lot of things on my mind when I had to decide what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was in marketing and design before I moved to Nashville. And then that business changed so greatly when I was ready to go back to a full-time job that I had to think of something else that I wanted to do. And I had background in this, and I had my mother as a mentor, and it just kind of seemed to be the right answer.
Absolutely, that's great. Your parents backing you is a really good option for you, and also probably free, hopefully. She didn't charge you, which is really good.
Yeah. You know, different advice like what would you do, you know. And I wouldn't always agree with her.
Exactly.
I didn't always take her advice, but she got me to talk about it.
That's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, about wellness, what if you were to write the definition of total wellness, what would that definition be for yourself?
I would guess that would be just an imbalance of emotional, mental, and physical health. We all need to keep our bodies and minds in motion, and but our physical workspace can also affect our emotional well-being. Like if you live in clutter, it'll affect you emotionally. If you don't eat well, it could affect you physically. Stress can affect you physically. One thing about having your own safe space, so when you own your own home, there's a different feeling. There's a feeling, and I'm sure you understand this, there's a feeling of ownership and pride and being able to do what you want with your own space.
Absolutely. This show is about environmental wellness, knowing that your environment, it makes you who you are. And if you don't have the proper living set up, then that's going to be really a bigger challenge for you. And you make that easier for people, environmental wellness.
Yeah, I try.
Aly, I got to ask you this one question that's on my mind, and everyone's asking me to ask you. Why is the housing market going crazy and going super out of control? What's going on? Like, houses went from 75 grand in the 80s and now are almost $1 million. The house gets older, but the land gets more valuable. What's going on?
We've got a few different factors going on with this. So we have low inventory because you have people coming from other states with big wads of cash in their pocket. That's only one part of it, but they can write an offer on a house that they want. It could be $2 million, and they will overbid. Oh. And the way that you can overbid, even if you don't have cash, but if you do have a mortgage, these people have cash that will go above and beyond the amount that the property will appraise at.
Wow.
So they're willing to do that, and there are buyers out there that are buying in cash, buying with conventional loans, willing to pay the difference because they have cash in their pocket. Another thing is you have, Nashville has become a very desirable place to own property. So you have tons and tons of investors. And not just investors like private investors. You have corporations buying up as much homes as possible.
Wow.
So they would like to make as many rental homes as possible. They have bought up entire neighborhoods.
I saw that in my area. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very sad because they're denying first-time buyers and buyers that don't have cash in their pockets the ownership. So, and it's not fair. If you're an FHA buyer right now, it's going to be very, very hard to buy a house because sellers, they can and they want to take the most amount of money no matter what.
Absolutely.
And most FHA buyers are FHA buyers because they don't have cash in their pocket.
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. When we bought a house, my house now is off the charts. Like, we bought a house about maybe 9 years ago, and now it's 3 times as much.
Yeah, it's nuts.
And everyone keeps knocking on my door, saying, hey, and calling me up, and like, hello, can you sell your house to us? I'm like, $1.2 million after taxes and fees. And they hang up. It's a good way to make them hang up.
It is. Well, I don't know if you've seen, I post on Facebook, I have texts and calls all day long. I have, gathered a handful of properties since my first house here in 1997 So I kept that, and I bought a duplex in about 2001. I bought another house in like 2003. So eventually I met my husband, and then we bought the house that we're in now. We bought a house around the corner. So it's not like I'm a giant investor. I'm just trying to have a retirement. But I'm getting so many calls and texts every single day. It's like I started to like make a joke of it, like respond something like, yeah, if you can get the stench of dead animals out of underneath the house, or
there's ghosts there. Hey.
Yeah, it's haunted. You know, which by the way in Tennessee it doesn't matter if it's haunted.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, those built on top of a swamp, haunted. I don't care, whatever it is.
In other states, it matters. You have to disclose it.
Exactly.
For sure.
Tell me that. I don't think my house is haunted now. It's like
your house isn't haunted.
I know. Hopefully not. I had the people come in with a little meter, and that's all good. But the segue right into buying a house. Do you feel that the real estate agent has had a situation with other buyers? Because I've heard horror stories where other agents were supposedly with a buyer, but they were either attacked or something happened on the site where the house was being shown. Is that something that you come across or you heard of? Or
I do my best to avoid those situations. I have been, well, I wouldn't say a victim, but I have been mugged before. But I was able to attack my attacker back.
Good. Perfect.
But if you avoid situations where you're showing a home to a stranger, then you can avoid some of these excess things. So I highly suggest anybody who wants to sit in an open house, get somebody to sit with them, whether it's a friend, a spouse, a mortgage professional. Don't sit in a house alone, because what you're doing is you're putting up a sign that says open house, and there's no cars around but yours. It's basically a sign saying, hey, I'm alone. So I try not to do that. I and there are many agents who will jump at the chance to do an open house. But more so than that, I have to make sure that potential buyers are able to buy a house. It doesn't make sense for me to run out and show a house to somebody I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know who they are. I don't know what their goal is. They just want to see a house, but I don't know if they can buy a house. So it's the best thing to do to sit down with them and discuss the whole buying process before we go out and look at houses. You know, well, let's say that they're approved for up to $300,000 and they call me and want to see a $400,000 house. Do I get in my car and go show these people a house? Or do I say, okay, well, you know, the market is very, very quick right now. We need to talk about being prepared to buy a home.
Exactly.
And that way I can either do a Zoom call, have them pre-approved by a bank or a mortgage company, and explain the whole process to them. And at that time I can find out who they are, get to know them very well so I know what kind of house that they need, or find out what the price point is so we're looking in the right area.
Absolutely.
So that is some of my first safety thing. I am trained a little bit in martial arts, in safety. Well, you know, it helps. I mean, it's going to be harder to get me in one, grab me than it is to grab somebody else. Not that I'm saying I'm going to get away, let them get you.
Don't mess with Aly, guys out there. I know, I've taught martial arts to a lot of people and to real estate agents. And I always tell people, you always got to be not the victim, but you got to make the attacker look like the victim. So you go crazy for a second and then calm down. And then once that attacker is taken care of, you just go on your way and call the cops.
I'll tell you my story. But, a lot of people are going to say, get a gun, get a gun. Well, here's the thing. I'm licensed to carry, but I don't walk around with it.
Exactly.
Because I don't want something to turn into something it shouldn't be. I don't know if they're carrying or not somebody who's going to attack you, but if I have something on me, there might be a mistake. If somebody can overpower me, they could take it from me. If
Absolutely.
they don't have one. If they do have one, listen, I'll do anything to get out of a situation. But I was mugged by a young kid, and he weighed like 3 times as much as I did, and I just found a way to get him, and I did, and that's going to happen. The only time I'm going to carry is if I know that I'm going to a remote property, not because of my buyers, because of somebody else that might be there.
So for people listening out there, real estate agents in general, do you feel that they should have a self-defense course and something that they should practice just to make sure that that scenario doesn't happen?
Absolutely they should, and I think that you should teach it more often.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm working on it. People watching out there, call me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would recommend you. I recommend you.
Oh, I appreciate that. You know, Aly and I know that I do fitness and wellness, and everybody watching out there, and the fact that self-defense is a big part of that, and confidence and self-esteem. It's a huge part of it.
It is. I mean, coming out feeling like a victor instead of a victim, it changes your life. One way or the other, it's going to change your life. Coming out as a victor is the best way to come out of this situation. You have a story, but you're okay.
Most definitely. You want to, at the end of the day, you want to go home with your family and not have to worry about it.
That's right.
And the next big thing that you have done and accomplished is opening up a new brokerage called Agora Realty. How long has it been open, and how's that going for you?
So in 2000, I had been managing 40 agents for somebody else's small boutique brokerage.
Wow.
And and I really enjoy it. I enjoy working and teaching other agents and helping them to fix problems. But I decided I wanted to go do it on my own. So a year ago, last month, I opened my own brokerage.
Nice. Is it harder than you think? Or
Yep, it is harder than I would think. The harder part of it is mainly all of the business and legal things that you have to do, and the taxes, and having somebody to be doing some of the back office work. That's the hardest part.
And for being a broker and for being a realtor over the years, for the last period of time, what was the most memorable thing a client has said to you that stuck with you to this day?
I love you.
Oh, really? Wow. They're going to propose to you at the door.
No,
in a different way. Yeah.
I have, like you and Kara, I've made some friends who I really, really care about.
Absolutely.
And have managed many relationships, personal relationships after the fact. While I tell all of my clients that I'll be there for them for anything, it's also personal stuff too. If they want to come and talk to me about some of their personal problems, or if they want to just check in once in a while and tell me, news in their life, I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
Being a hairdresser, you go out there and say, "Hey, how you doing today?" All the problems come out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's another. When my husband was getting ready to propose to me, we went to the same hairdresser, and we both spoke to her on either side. It was funny.
AKA counselor, hairdresser.
But you got to have something to talk about when you're getting your hair cut.
Absolutely.
Or your hair, all kinds of things that you can do with your hair.
Exactly. So that's great. I'm really having a great time, and today was an awesome time having you be on the show. Really, really appreciate it. What are some things that you'd like us to know more about you that we haven't covered?
Well, as I'm married to a home building contractor. He does builds and remodels old homes. He can change it. He's very, very artistic. About my children, my boxers.
Yes, most definitely.
And you know that I was a musician and artist, and I came to Nashville for music. You already know that about me. I don't know. I like to have a good time. I like to be upbeat and just have fun with everything. Try not to stress out.
That's the biggest part, not stressing and having a good time. And for me, having a good time is all about meeting new people, relaxing, and learning from them. That's the biggest part about it.
can never learn anything, and
True.
you never know everything, even about what you do.
Very true. I'm learning every single day. Even like today in this interview, I learned a lot from you about what you do and how your business runs. And that's the big part about this, is meeting new people and building relationships. For everyone out there that wants to build new relationships, just go out there and network and meet new people. And has networking helped you quite a bit to build your business?
I used to go to networking things, and I've met people and I've made friends, and I would say that I've gotten some business because of that. Actually, I have. I actually organized a singles group from 2005 to like 2015.
Oh, wow.
And so I have so many friends that I've met through there, and I also did a networking group back then too. And I use a mortgage company that I met through there, and we become friends, and I really trust him. That's the main thing too. I mean, you can't just use the services of somebody you know because you know them. They have to be qualified, and you have to trust them and understand them.
Absolutely. You have to know the person and get a good relationship in order to do business with them. Right. But where can our people find your information? And the people watching here, how can we hire you or find your information, or just ask questions and talk to you?
You can go to agoratn.com, agora.com, and that's where I have a bio on there. You can call me through the site. You can see some of the TV shows I've done with the American Dream TV, and or you could Google me.
That's excellent.
Google
Most
me,
definitely.
come up with at least a couple pages.
Perfect. You have a whole list of everything that you've done online, which is perfect. The internet's the best way to find you. But thank you so much for being on our show today, Aly, and I really appreciate your time. And all your information will be in the show notes for people to find you. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome.
So good to see you.
You too, definitely. Good catching up. Coming up next, we'll have the Body Express Wellness Solution tip. The Body Express Wellness tip is if you're stressed out and need to break the stress, kickboxing and boxing is a great way to relieve that stress. I hope you enjoyed our show today. I'm Jason Cronin, and please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to download your free wellness routine checklist that will really help you start your day and make you feel great. But please, if you can, support the show and share it with all your friends and family. Thank you very much for watching and listening, and have a great fit day.